Oh, am I alive? I'm alive. And I'm live right now. Hello, Silver. Good morning. Good morning, good morning. Hello. Ah. I had kind of like a uneasy rest last night. I had a freaking mosquito that was flying around my ear. And it's so messed up. I'll sit up and look for it, try to track it so I can kill it and get some rest. And then it stops moving. And I can't turn on any lights or anything. And, because I don't want to wake up Kendra. But that was so annoying. I hate when a bug gets inside and it just becomes a nuisance. Yeah. Just hanging out. Are you still there, Silver? Oh well. Yeah. I'm just hanging out here by myself. I do have some things I was going to talk about. I got 3 different things to talk about. I'm just gonna hang out right here. See who's gonna join me. Who's coming with me? Who's gonna join? Huh? Ah, yeah, it's something Kendra likes to watch. Made an impact on me last night. Like I've seen this kind of story happen over and over again, to where um, it bothers me. And actually, I think it was last week. I had mentioned something about this particular topic. But yeah, I'm just hanging out, waiting to see if some friends will join me and hang out with me. And I'll share some news articles. Just gonna hang out here, see what's gonna happen here. Do I need to do the atheist call? Atheist! Atheist! Will that bring him in? Or maybe being on a consistent time? I've kind of just been. Oh, good morning, Silver. I've kind of been random at the time that I pick. And it's basically like that for me. Um, Kendra's time that she has to get up and go to work varies. So I don't exactly wake up at the same time every day. So I don't really have a set time. I don't know if that's a good thing. Maybe I should postpone it to a time that I know I'll be up, like maybe 9 o'clock, and just start hitting 9 o'clock every morning. Or maybe does it matter? I don't know. If y'all have an opinion on this and you'd like to share it with me, let me know what y'all think. Yeah, you don't know. Yeah. I just kind of been getting up and seeing what's going on. there is one channel that I watch, Ryan Hall, y'all. Uh, he does the weather, and I really like his breakdown of the weather, and he shares the weather as in like the whole region. He's not just looking at a particular local region and saying what's going on. So it gives you a bigger perspective of the weather. Silver says, I'm currently working in the freezers at the moment, which isn't really great for my condition. I had a short period of time where I stayed, uh, where I worked in a convenience store, and I would go inside this freezer and restock the shelves, and that would get pretty cold, especially after being in there for a considerable amount of time. And that place was completely disorganized, and the manager person was needing somebody to get it organized out. And I spent a bunch of time in there trying to sort things out and put like things with like things and get all the trash out of there. And that person ended up making it to where I didn't want to work there anymore. I was like, dude, like, I personally asked you. I don't, I gave them a set, you know, amount of time that I'm willing to work. You know, I don't want to work 7 days a freaking week. It's just not going to happen. And what did the person do in the first freaking week? Schedule me out. Like at first, I could only see part of the week, and then the next week, uh, part of the schedule came out to where I could see the rest of the week, and they just had me every fucking night. And I was like, this ain't gonna work. I have more important things, especially not for a freaking it was like $10 an hour, which that seems like the going rate for everything around here. $10 an hour. Oh, or ah, mm, yeah. Silver says, yeah, I'm kind of sick, but it's only 3 doors of freezer. Yeah, that is never too much fun at all. I don't like being sick, having the sore throat, and getting the runny noses and stuff like that. That is one of the things that I don't really look forward to during this part of the season is, you know, how the body can react to it. And it is one of my biggest pet peeves is um, people with runny noses that just like don't clean them, and they just like, I understand, like, if like all of a sudden you have a moment where like it starts to hit you and your sinuses are hitting you and you do a little sniffle. I'm not bugging out about that, but it's like the people who like just don't go and clean it, and they just continually it grosses me out. It grosses me out. Ugh. But it feels incredibly crappy whenever your throat is all sore. It can make it hard to eat, and then get that knot in your stomach, nausea, and all that. Ugh. Ugh. Um, I don't look forward to that kind of feelings. Oh, you got the stomach bug. Oh, yeah. Mm-mm. Mm, yeah, that is one of the worst. That is no fun. Absolutely not. One of the thoughts that is occurred to me is like, this is going off onto a tangent. It's something I've been thinking about here lately, or it's a new thought that has occurred to me, that I'm pretty good at like turning off my thought or refocusing my thoughts. I can do that really good with my thinking. It's pretty easy for me to change how I think, but I'm starting to discover that my feelings are not the same. Like, the feeling is like, I don't have a practice for being like, um, I don't want to feel like this, so I'm going to change the way I feel. Although I have worked to um, like try to not feel feelings, emotional feelings, but I don't know. It's this whole. It's weird. It's something that is new to my wheelhouse of thought. That my feelings are not. It's not something I've ever practiced to change how I feel about something. If that makes sense. Or do I change how I feel about things? Hmm. Yeah. See, this is a new trying to get in touch with my feelings. It's kind of a new kind of thing I'm trying to grasp my understanding of. Good morning, Dave. Good morning. Yeah. Like, I don't think I have an exercise. Like with meditation, I can, practice, keeping my focus on something. But I don't really have a practice of where I'm like, I'm angry right now. I don't want to be angry right now. So actually, I do, because whenever I'm working on something, and if I get frustrated with something, um, I can get to the point to where I'll cuss and I'll be like, "This fucking goddamn thing, holy motherfucker!" But I'll stop. And I'm like, "Whoa, I'm angry right now," and I'll go put down whatever it is, and then go, just breathe and refocus my attention, and try to come up with the solution to whatever problem that I'm encountering. So I guess I do have a way that I deal with my feelings. And it's more about like, I feel this feeling, and then I'm going to just try to make it go away, or discontinue it. I don't know. It's a whole I'm I don't know what I'm talking about right now. I'm trying to understand that part of myself. Yeah. But I do got some things that I was going to talk about. I do got some news articles And I do got something that I watched last night. Kendra likes to watch a YouTube program called That Chapter, and they go over true crime cases. And there's a reoccurring theme that happens uh, with these cases. And I put the links down below to the topics that I am talking about. So if you want to check out what I am addressing, then it's right down there in the description box. But the first one, what we watched last night was AJ Armstrong. I'm just gonna let it load right now. And AJ Armstrong. This happened in Houston. There's good old Mike. People that AJ Armstrong was looked at as the prime suspect from nearly the very get go. And AJ Armstrong was the suspect in the murder of his parents. And him and his sister made it out of the house that night. AJ was the one who called the police. Um, I'm not going to go over all the details of the case, but the police, that's all they were looking at was, oh, it's AJ, and they're trying to work it to where AJ did the crime. And I think this is such a backwards way of thinking. And this kind of event has happened multiple times over and over again, where the police, they jump to conclusions. They go, this is our suspect, this is the main person who we think did this, and they just hone in on that and they try to make it fit instead of being like, what actually happened here, and gathering data and really following leads to where they go, instead of being like, this is the person who did this crime, and then trying to make them the ones who are responsible for it, when there are other factors into it. If you listen to the show, and you look at the evidence, it was very questionable from the beginning. Like the house had an alarm system, but an alarm system doesn't mean that every door and window uh, is going to go off. There are times where um, those things aren't set up. You know, a window could be not hooked up to where it has an alarm system to it. Hey, William, good morning. Hello. But yeah, I've seen this type of story happen multiple times. And I just find it disturbing that they find a suspect and they just latch on to that and try to uh, pin it on this particular suspect, instead of working the case to where they're gathering data and seeing where that takes them. It's crazy. AJ was actually had 3 court things that happened to him, and the very last one, and in between each one of these court hearings, there was large amounts of time that went by. And in the very last court one, all of a sudden there appears this blood spot that was found on a piece of tape, and the, they were trying to pin that oh, this blood splatter came from AJ the night that his parents were murdered, but they never had that evidence before, and now AJ is going to be suing the um the Houston police for uh tampering with evidence, or whatever they call that kind of case. You know, that malpractice or whatever, that being dishonest. But yeah, but that was the first thing that I had to talk about. And then the next one, I haven't read into this at all yet. This is, I just saw the headline and I thought it would be interesting to read about and hear what's going on with this. This came from PBS, and it came out on October 11th, and it's by Jeff Bennett, and the title is Supreme Court Hears Arguments in Key Racial Gerrymandering Case from South Carolina. Here, let me get a sip here. Hey, Big Z, good morning. Christian Carpenter, hello. Good morning. Yeah. Ah, stretching it out. But yeah, let's check this out. The Supreme Court heard arguments in a key racial gerrymandering case out of South Carolina. The state redrew its congressional map and moved thousands of black voters out of a competitive district, making it reliably Republican and diluting the black vote. The outcome could determine the balance of power in Congress. Jeff Bennett discussed more with NewsHour Supreme Court analyst Marcia Cole. Oh, there's also Sarah Kahn and Marcia Cole are also responsible for putting this together. Oh, this is written out as a dialogue. This this is the full transcript. Jeff Bennett says the U.S. Supreme Court today heard arguments in a key racial gerrymandering case out of South Carolina. Am I about to read what I already just read? State withdrew. I'm not going to do that. Okay, so Bennett says, so we know that two lower courts agreed that there was clear racial gerrymandering in this case, but at least a handful of the conservative justices on the Supreme Court today appeared to cast doubt on that. and he asked to tell him more. And Marcia Cole said, "Okay, first let me say that a racial gerrymandering is when a district has been drawn with race as the predominant motive or factor. That's unconstitutional under the 14th Amendment Equal Protection Guarantee." During the arguments today, the Chief Justice and Justice Alito both seemed to be somewhat skeptical that the challengers here, the South Carolina Conference of the NAACP, had carried its burden of what they called disentangling race from politics. Politics was what the state legislature claimed was its motive when it drew District 1 in South Carolina. The Chief Justice said, for example, that there was no direct evidence that race was used. There was no kind of bizarrely shaped lines around the district, which is often a tip-off. He said that all they had was circumstantial evidence, and if the court were to accept that, he said that could be a huge change or expansion of the court's voting rights jurisprudence. That was really the strongest comment, I think, that was made about the challengers' evidence and their arguments today. But there was pushback. Justice Kagan and Justice Sotomayor felt that the circumstantial evidence, one, was very strong, and that was all that was needed under the court's voting rights jurisprudence. They said that the lower court had found that what other right what they said that the lower court had found that other right what other reason could there be other than race when you see the legislature move 30,000 black voters out of the district into another district in an attempt to basically to keep 17% of the black voting age population in District 1. So there was pushback there, and yet I think what all the justice seems to agree today on is that this is a very, very difficult case, trying to separate whether race was the predominant motive or whether the partisanship was the predominant motive. And Jeff, as you know, partisan gerrymanders are not unconstitutional. But very convoluted. It really it makes things more difficult to understand. Really, it's just why not just do a vote? Let everybody vote for all these freaking districts. Checking out chat. Big Z is saying, why don't they go full KKK with these moves? Because I think they would totally lose their base. I don't think the majority of the American people would support that. Although there are so many people that are like, I'm not racist, but yet will have questionable ideas about things and people and the nature of things. It's weird. But it's convoluted. It's like this whole gerrymandering thing. Like reorganizing districts and things like that is, I don't think it's really necessary. It's just something to make things more confusing. Um, Jeff Bennett goes on, and the impact here is, of course, huge. Our team spoke with South Carolina Public Radio reporter Talisha Eddy, who explained what this means for local voters in South Carolina. Talisha Eddy from the public radio said some voices will not be heard during the next congressional, state, and other local elections. So, for the black residents who are now living in this diluted or cracked first congressional district, issues that matter to them will be hard to hear or hard to get representation for those issues moving forward. And then for those voters who have been packed into the sixth congressional district, issues that matter to them or their larger community, these coastal issues, those voices or those issues may have a hard time being heard because they are now lumped in with residents who live almost 100 miles away. There's just so many people. It's really hard to focus on certain things. Um, so Jeff Bennett goes on to say, so that's potential impact on folks in South Carolina. What are the national implications? And Marcia answers, there are a number of redistricting battles going on right now throughout the country. They are not all racial gerrymander claims. Some of them are under the Voting Rights Act. And yet you know that courts and litigators will be watching what the Supreme Court says today. And what it does say today could very well have an impact on, for example, the U.S. House elections and the control of the U.S. House in 2024. So that's a very significant impact. Also, the challengers claim that if they don't succeed here, the state legislature will be able to use politics or partisanship as a proxy for race and shield their plans from challenges. On the other side, the legislature claims that if the court rules against them, it's going to draw courts into very difficult battles trying to find the difference here, whether it is race or politics. Uh, and I just think it should just, the whole redistricting, all of that, just make it very simple. One vote, one person, one vote. You know, I think it just gets too convoluted, too confusing. And that's why I think we have so many disenchanted uh, voters, so many people who just don't care to vote. They don't think their vote counts because they've made the system to where it's so confusing. It's hard to understand. You have to keep up with a bunch of stuff. And um, especially for younger people, I think their their focus and their goals in life, um, they just don't make the time to try to understand all this stuff. Hey, good morning. Hey, Robbie. Math Pig is in the house. Good morning. And Dr. Mordecai has joined us. Dr. Mordecai is saying, just wait till Jesus comes back. He's going to fuck some people up. He's going to make it. He's going to put it right, right? Don't hold your breath. Don't hold your breath. Dr. Mordecai said, I thought Tobin was reading the chat, but it turns out that he's reading an article. Yeah. Just checking out some new stuff. I put the links in the description down there if y'all want to check those out, where I'm getting that information from. But yeah. But I'd like to see a system. I think it is achievable to make it to where it's very easy to understand. Somebody with basic knowledge can easily understand how the whole process works and make it to where making claims that, oh, it's this group who is trying to rig the system so they have an unfair advantage. Just make it simple so it's easy to understand, and you can tell if somebody's cheating or not. Make it very basic. I don't know. My that's my 2 cents on that. But yeah, another one that I thought would be interesting, a science article about a study on footprints in New Mexico may be the oldest signs of human. This one came from Science and Technology. Who wrote this article? Who done it? I'm not sure who wrote it. I don't see a name put on this, but the link is down in the bottom there. I'm gonna drink a little bit. Let's take a sip. Take a sip. There we go. New research confirms that a fossil of human footprints found in the U.S. state of New Mexico likely represents the oldest direct evidence of humans living in the Americas. The footprints were discovered at the edge of the remains of an ancient lake in White Sands National Park in southern New Mexico. The research, published recently in Science, suggests the fossil dates back to between 21,000 and 23,000 years ago. The estimated age of the footprint was first reported in Science in 2021. I kind of think they should have came up with a different name for their, because it reads kind of weird. Footprints was first reported in Science in 2021. Whenever I say Science there, that is actually a title of a publication. So I'm not talking about the method, I'm actually talking about a title of a publisher. The estimated age of the footprint was first reported in Science in 2021, but some researchers questioned the dates. Researchers wondered whether seeds from the lake plants used in the early dating may have taken in ancient carbon from the lake. If so, this could have changed the radiocarbon test result by thousands of years. Hmm. The new study presents two additional lines of evidence for the older date range. It uses two different materials found at the site: ancient tree pollen and quartz grain. The reported age of the footprints questions the belief that humans did not reach the Americas until 15,000 years ago. That was a few thousand years before rising sea levels covered the Bering Land Bridge between Asia and North America. Thomas Urban is a scientist who studies ancient humans at Cornell University in New York. He was involved in the 2021 study, but not the new one. He said it is an area that's always been controversial. Urban said such stories, no, Urban said such studies are important because they deal with the last part of the peopling of the world. Interesting. Thomas Stanford is an independent scientist who studies ancient humans and the Earth in Albuquerque, New Mexico. He was not involved in the study. He said that while he was a bit skeptical before, he now believes it. Stafford said it is an important finding if three completely different methods show findings from a similar time period. The new study separated about 75,000 individual pieces of pollen from the same area in the rocks where the footprints were found. And they have some photos too in this article. They have a photo made available by the National Park Services in 2021 that shows fossilized human footprints at the White Sands National Park in New Mexico. One of the places that I've heard about for a long time and I've wanted to go visit is Carlsbad Caverns. I think that's in New Mexico. I could be wrong about off on a tangent right now. But that would be cool to go and see that. I haven't ever got to go into New Mexico yet. Catlin Springer is an earth scientist researcher at United States Geological Survey and helped write the new paper. She said the process of dating pollen is very difficult. She added that scientists believe radiocarbon dating land plants gives more correct results than dating plants living in water. But she added there needs to be a large enough number of plants to study. The researchers also studied damage to the structure in the ancient small pieces of quartz to produce an age estimate. Ancient footprints of any kind left behind by humans or large animals can give scientists some idea when they are from. They may record how and where people or animals walked and if their paths crossed. Animal footprints have also been found at White Sands. Other ancient sites in the Americas point to a similar time period. These include ancient art made from animal remains in Brazil, but scientists still question whether such materials really suggest that humans were living in Americas then. Yeah, and I think the suspension of belief is a good thing. Like just setting yourself, like I think having a belief sets yourself up for disappointment in a way. Um, and just putting things on a spectrum, like is this how likely it is true? You know, is it something that is got a lot of evidence pointing in that direction, or it can go the opposite way that there's not enough evidence. I think it's just a philosophical thing that people fall into a lot. Like they want to have the answer, but sometimes, well, I think in a lot of cases it's better to just be, you know, to where you leave a margin for error, not being like 100% confident. That creates an confidence that, you know, can eventually uh, set yourself up for disappointment or something like that. Let's see what's being said on here in the chat. Deconverted man joined as well. Good morning. Hello. Captive Death says, Tobin, say buddy. Buddy, are you my buddy? Be my pal. Be my buddy pal. Can we be buddy pals? Deconverted man says, but Tobin is way more cool than Polly Shore. Oh shit. Oh. Mm. Uh, Dr. Mordecai goes on to say the hottest August and the hottest July ever recorded. Yeah, it was pretty brutal this summer. I pretty much tried to stay indoors during the hottest point of the days, and anything I needed to get done outside, I was waiting to the evening time or early morning. I was not fucking with the summer this year. I've had enough of it, of like working out in direct sunlight. Ugh, forget that noise. Deconverted man says, ah, silly, just because it's getting hotter doesn't mean that global heating is real. Captive Death says, looking rainy and cloudy this morning. Not a good day to view the eclipse, it seems. Yeah, for us right now at the moment, it is looking that way. It is very overcast right now. Bleeping better be. Oh, it jumped on me. Where? Bleeping better be good outside. Dave says, oops, well, Saturday looks worse. 95% of rain showers. Oh man. Are we going to get blocked out from seeing the eclipse? Yeah, we need some anti-rain spells. That's right, deconverted man. Uh, Pal, Private Aslick. Dr. Mordecai. Dave says, I'm gonna have to. I haven't been able to get the telescope out. Yeah, yeah, it does look. Oh, oh, I hear somebody calling. Meow, meow. She purrs. This one is a little stinker. You know, cats have personalities. They have certain traits that they do. We have one cat, Gizmo. He likes to suckle on the blanket. It's like he misses his mom's milk, and he'll sit there and paw at a comforter, and he likes to suck on it. So we have to watch him doing that because he will soak a spot. It's gross, and you got to wash it and all that crap. But this one is a little stinker. She, you can get comfortable with her and just be hanging out. And as soon as she like really gets comfortable and she like lays out and just goes completely limp, she has some of the worst gas. It totally beats out mine. I mean, it is totally toe curling and just it is repulsive. It is gnarly, gnarly. He's like, fuck that noise. I ain't coming on camera. Yeah. But yeah. So yeah, well, I got some people here. I wonder if I could get y'all's opinion on something, which is uh, the time that I wake up varies. I can get up and be up very early in the morning. Here, let me ask it like this. Do you think it matters if I have a study time that I stream? Like, I just set the time to be like, 9 o'clock, and I just do it 9 o'clock every day um, that I come on to stream. Or does it matter? If I'm up at like, 7:30, I'm ready to come online, or should I make it to where I'm steadily streaming on, because like Monday through Thursday, I would like to continue doing this. Um, and I enjoy interacting with all of y'all. So I don't know. Does it matter? Do I need a consistent time, or should I just, kind of keep doing the same thing I have been doing? Whenever I'm ready to stream, just stream, do it whenever I'm ready. Or, I kind of think if I make a specific time that I do it, then it seems like it would give an expectation to people. People would know what to expect. This is fun. Like we have these golf balls that we got, and they're squishy. And these cats, they love this freaking ball. I can toss this, and they will chase it all over the place. And it bounces around. So if they swat it, Gizmo has gotten to where, like, I can stand at the end of the stairs and toss it and bounce it, and he will go up and grab it from the air. He'll catch it. Let's see. Let's see what the chat says. Uh, Cats stink worse than sheep. Oh my goodness. Yeah, like a kitty litter box. I can't do the kitty litter box. Like our cats, they come in, but I let them in and then I put them back outside. Like I only let them in for periods of time, and then I let them be outside because I don't like litter boxes. That is like I have a hard time dealing with that. Christian Carpenter says English bulldogs have the worst smelling gas in the animal kingdom. You know, uh, whenever I was a kid, I did know an English bulldog who could run with the big dogs, so to say, and passing gas. It is pretty rancid. Deconverted Man says, I wonder if anyone has done a study on what animal has the worst fart. That would be an interesting thing to see. What that study would be like. Mm, I agree, Dr. Mordecai. Cat piss is just, whoo, yikes. Deconverted Man says streaming equals do it how you want. Yeah, I don't do anything in a coherent way. KK, IGTG for real now. Peace out. Oh, you gotta go. Thanks for hanging out, Deconverted Man. Do what you want to do, Tobin, but if you go earlier, I won't be up. yeah, yeah. See, I might a little bit later in the morning because it does seem like there's more activity going on. I have turned this on at like 6 o'clock, and it takes a little while before anybody will join me. But yeah, interesting. All right. I might start doing that because that does make sense. If I say that I'm gonna start streaming at 9 o'clock, um, for the majority of the time, I'm always up way before 9 o'clock, and that'll give me time to look over some news articles and see what's been going on, and I can put something together. Um, I like having the links to the articles that I'm reading or whatever I'm going to address for the day. Um, yeah, I think I'm gonna call it right here. I'm gonna say this that I'm gonna start streaming 9 o'clock every morning, Monday through Thursday. That is going to be what I'm going to try to hold to, which I think that is definitely achievable. I can be able to do that, and that way y'all can uh, know what to kind of expect from me. But yeah, But I'm starting to get kind of hungry. I'm ready to go heat up my skillet, get something going on, get something in my tummy. But I wish y'all well-being, and thank you for hanging out with me. And I will see y'all on the flip side.